On March 26, 1964, the two most prominent civil rights leaders of the decades shared their only meeting. Alright, so you've probably seen the Bob Ross we all know and love, with the big fluffy afro. But check this out, this is what Bob Ross looked like before he got that iconic hairstyle. This photo shows Monsieur Lefebvre, one of the last surviving veterans of Napoleon's army. It was taken way back in 1858. We've got a sleeping giant. Here's a photo of a young man enjoying his very first dance. Here's a cool find. Check out this unusual cigarette holder. It's from America, dating back to the 1950s. Check this out, it's me back in 1966 enjoying some Japanese Coca-Cola. And look at those crazy glasses. You just don't see them like that anymore, do you? Here's a shot of quality control at EMI Records. This was back in 1965. Here's a photo of Carolyn Jones, who was born in 1930 and passed away in 1983. She's in a promotional still for the 1957 noir crime film Babyface Nelson. Here's a photo from the 1950s showing British children. They're living in a shanty town and despite their circumstances they're laughing and playing. It's a pretty striking image. This amazing photo shows the Nicholas brothers performing their incredible jump and jive routine. It was filmed in stormy weather and it's from 1943. Here's a look at some performance art from the 1970s. Here's a photo from 1945. It shows a soldier sharing his food with two Dutch kids. Two young men are holding up a sign. It's already printed and declares their commitment to each other and that they're ready to get legally married. Check out this bullet bra from the 1940s. Classic style for sure. Here's a picture of a German railroad plough in Italy. It looks like it was taken back in 1944. Animals bring a kind of joy you just can't find anywhere else. This is Lucille Mulhall at 101 Ranch back in 1909. Here's a look at some studio photos of two women from the 1900s. Here's a lovely photo of George Harrison with his cat. Isn't that sweet? Here's the photo. It shows a woman from 1903 getting photographed for the very first time. Here's a photographic portrait of Sigmund Freud taken around 1921. This photo shows the dressing room at the Moulin Rouge. It was taken way back in 1924. This old photo from the 1890s, published in Ultra magazine, shows a really sweet moment. It's a man, an Inuit man, warming his wife's feet. The photo was taken in Greenland. Here's a photo showing repairs at Stonehenge around 1919. Alright, here we have an MGM employment portrait of 19-year-old Ava Gardner. This was taken back in 1941. Here's a shot of the Saigon robot from Italy, way back in 1957. This photo takes us back to the 1950s. We see a man, probably in a hospital, buying cigarettes. Can you believe it? Here's a photo from around 1936 showing a Hooverville. These were shanty towns that popped up during the Great Depression. Here's a photo from 1946. It's a homecoming picture, a prisoner of war. Here's a rare one. This is a photograph of Marilyn Monroe, and it's pretty special because she's without any makeup. This was taken way back in 1955. Here's a cool old photo. It shows a couple having fun on an old-fashioned zipline back in 1923. Alright, check this out. Here's a picture of a drive-in theatre from Los Angeles back in 1949. Man, I bet that was the place to be. Here's a photo of an unknown soldier in Vietnam. It was taken in 1965. Here's a picture of Chester McDuffie and his 200-kilogram aluminum alloy wetsuit. This photo was taken way back in 1911. The expanding fireball and shockwave from the Trinity explosion. This was captured just 25 thousandths of a second after detonation, on July 16, 1945. Here's a photo from the 1960s. It shows a rather, shall we say, tipsy gentleman. He's been placed in a basket and is being carried away. The photo was taken in Istanbul. Here's a snapshot of a group of friends having a blast on the beach back in the 1940s. Looks like they're soaking up the sun and enjoying a great day together. Here's a great picture. Back in 1963, inventor Hugo Gernsback modelled his television goggles. This was for Life magazine, and the photo really envisioned a future of portable entertainment. Alright, let's take a look at this old photo. It shows a classic London bar scene back in 1893. You can see the pub landlord with his barmaids, and there's even a lone drinker enjoying a pint. It's a snapshot of a pretty typical night out back then. This photo shows cats waiting for the fishermen to come back in Istanbul back in the 1970s. Here's the photo. It's of the world's largest log cabin, which was in Portland, Oregon. This photo was taken in 1938. The cabin itself was originally built in 1905, but unfortunately, it burned down in 1964. Here's a cool old photo called Bandit's Roost. It was taken in 1888. Meet Robot Eric, built by Captain William Richards way back in 1928. Here's a photo from the early 1960s showing a civil rights march. Soft heart, simple as that, really. Here's a photo of two young boys holding their breath. It looks like they're on their very first elevator ride. This picture was taken all the way back in 1948. Here's a photo of the Wright brothers, taken in 1909. This photo shows the wreck of the Arden Craig, which happened off the Isles of Scilly, west of Cornwall. That was back in 1911. Here's a photo from 1909 showing a Mongolian shaman. Here's a dramatic shot capturing the last moments of a kamikaze attack. This is the USS Lexington, and the photo was taken on November 5th, 1944. You can see the plane just seconds before impact. This photo, taken in Budapest in 1963, is from the Budapest Municipal Collection. This photo shows a pretty ominous looking thing, the bomb known as Fat Man. This photo shows Shoichi Yokoi looking completely broken after finally returning home. It shows Salvador Dali, the famous artist, kissing Raquel Welch's hand. This was taken in 1965, right after he finished his still incredibly well-known portrait of her. Lenin after his third stroke, taken in 1923. This photograph was actually banned in the USSR back then. Here's a photo of a man posing with a motorcycle, but not just any motorcycle. This one's been fitted with skis so he could navigate the snow. It was taken in Kehrsatz, Switzerland during World War I. Pretty ingenious, huh? Check out this cool shot. It's an amphibious vehicle cruising around London way back in 1935. Boys will be boys. Alright, here we have a photo called Black Cat Hug. It's from the year 1963. Here's a young, fresh-faced Marilyn without any makeup. It's a side of her that the public rarely got to see. Here's a photograph of the Ku Klux Klan on parade down Pennsylvania Avenue back in 1928. Here's a great old photo. It shows Charlie Chaplin meeting Helen Keller back in 1919. Check this out, it's a Unimate robot and it's actually serving coffee. This photo was taken way back in 1967. Pretty cool, huh? Here's a sweet snapshot from the 1930s. It shows a couple, probably the parents, taking their baby ice skating. What a charming scene. Here's a look at the use of masks during the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. Here's a photo of a Lithuanian book smuggler from the 1800s. Here's a lovely cabinet card photo taken sometime around the early 1890s. It's of the Fairy Sisters. Here's a great shot. We're looking at a group of entertainers all decked out in those classic zoot suits. This must have been for a performance on Hit Parade back in 1943. The Rolling Stones really clicked after a beer session way back around 1963. Here's a pretty funny photo. It says, "Please don't kiss me." It looks like Mom is asking not to be kissed, probably by her baby. This was back in the 1930s, when she was trying to avoid catching the flu. Here's a picture of Batman riding an elephant. It's from 1967. Here's a photo of Charlie Chaplin in the movie Modern Times from the year 1936. Oh my goodness, this photo shows Miss New Zealand. She actually fainted right there at the Miss Universe pageant, and this was back in Long Beach in 1954. Here's a photo from the 1920s, and the title says "So Young and So Happy." This incredible photo shows a blind woman in New York way back in 1916.